Emerl doesn't have a battle quote, everyone. It's Deep Dive Zone, a Sonic review series for fans of all shapes and sizes. And that was a terrible intro. I regret that. Anyway, speaking of regrets, let's get into the final episode of Sonic Battle.
Thank Jesus.
It's gonna be over at last.
Yeah.
After everything we've been through with Emerl, he gets his own story, and
For some reason.
Emerl's the main character of this game. I don't know why he needs a campaign unto his own.
That's a really good question.
I mean, I guess it's the final story, so I guess if it's gonna be somebody, but... Well, the ending doesn't even go to... Sorry, getting ahead of myself. Anyway, this is a story where Eggman suddenly returns with a new Death Egg, and it's, for some reason, up to Emerald to take him down.
The Emperor returned somehow.
Okay, fine. Let's touch on that first. Yeah, what the heck? Why is the Death Egg back suddenly? Like, nobody noticed that? Like, in every other appearance, it was a big deal when the Death Egg was there. In the first game, Sonic was, rushing towards it to blow it up. In the second game, he was rushing to stop its rebuilding. And now it's like, I guess everyone was distracted by Emerald. Real 200 IQ move there, Eggman. Don't think that was on purpose, but...
Maybe this is the rebuilt chunks of the Death Egg 2 from Sonic 4, released 7 years after this game.
Jesus.
No. So anyhow,
No.
It's really weird that you said Emerald is like the main character of this game, and it's funny. I'm like, is he? I guess he is. I mean, if I had to pick one, but it's strange because so much of the time he feels like a MacGuffin more than a character. And now the game has been like, you're not a MacGuffin anymore. It's time for you to have your own story. So much that Sonic has decided to take a vacation for a while, maybe. Just now, go do it yourself, Emerald. Maybe Sonic's being lazy. He doesn't seem like the lazy type. I don't know. It feels very contrived.
Well, and it's like, all of this newfound freedom you have is just a big roundup on Earth where you can just walk around, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah, the game lets you grind for as long as you want. I assume you would need it a lot. I didn't play the fights legitimately, but I assume
we'll get to the grinding. I'll talk about that. Don't worry.
All right.
Because I should have done it and I didn't.
Oh no, the game in its sequence of fight whoever you want and get your skill points and cards. There is one really surprising standout actually, because you go to the Holy Summit. And then Knuckles is there, and he's like, "Oh, hey, Emerald, Chaos is back."
Yeah,
what the fuck?
he's just here.
Why is he just here?
It's like, I don't think this will be the last time that Chaos arbitrarily returns, but it's like, the ending of Sonic Adventure 1...
Is it not? Seriously? Because I was shocked by this. I didn't know that this ever
I guess
happened
I'm thinking more comics than games, because like in Sonic Forces, that's an illusion.
Everything happens in the comics.
Right, yeah.
But,
I expect that from the comics.
No, I'm wrong, because in Sonic Forces, it's Phantom Ruby, it's not actually Chaos, so...
Right.
Either way, it's like, in the end of Sonic Adventure 1, Chaos and Call, like, ascend, It's like, that's afterlife shit. And it's like, I don't think that they're really hesitating on the idea of using Tikal or Chaos if they want to, but it's like, it's pretty clear that it's like, yeah, they're dead. What are you doing here? It's like, Chaos is not actually a deity that can just come back and die as he wants. He is somebody that took the role of a deity, but was essentially mutated and biologically regressed.
So, even though I was absolutely shocked by this, I don't actually think the idea is all that bad, personally. Yeah, you're right, it seemed like they went to the afterlife, but logically speaking, obviously Tikal... Well, did Tikal survive the Chaos attack?
I mean,
she did.
I'm pretty sure.
Actually.
She's Knuckles' ancestor, and she was just a girl at the time of SA1,
Right.
so... I think that she was a guardian, I think that's what's implied
so, Tikal clearly there's something. I sure hope it's not something like you're chosen and so you get to live forever. But there's some reason, yeah, I don't know. The series has ghosts. It's very strange. But Tikal, I would accept is just a spirit. But there's a Chow, which I don't know if this is like an official name. I don't think so. This has been dubbed by fans. There are Chaos Chow that live forever. So it is not at all a stretch to say that Chaos can also live forever. You know, Chaos went with Tikal at the end of the story, but I feel like that was just like, you know, sort of a flashy send-off. There's no reason to say that Chaos was destroyed or whatever.
Yeah.
Just left to the heavens. I honestly, I think it makes sense. The reason it's strange is that they never did anything with this idea ever again. But honestly, makes sense to me that Chaos would just leave and come back whenever there's a crisis, which is what Knuckles says.
Yeah.
They come back in times of crisis.
Well, and the good thing that they did do is that they did make Chaos docile. I mean, you can fight him, but it's only if you want to.
Yeah, he doesn't challenge you.
Yeah. So they're not, unlike Gamma, for instance, that they brought back and bent in very strange ways just to become antagonistic in the plot. They brought back Chaos, but they're just there seemingly only to lend aid to Emerl if they choose to take it. You know, so that Emerl can gain their skills, I guess. Yeah. Which Chaos does have a lot of wacky skills. I must say, it is really cool to see them as a fighter in this game. Like, that's a lot of like extra effort for one completely optional fight. And yeah, you know, they've got all these great gooey attacks, using what I like about Chaos being just this weird water creature.
He's a goopy boy. I feel like I should have fought Chaos. I'm gonna be honest.
Well, the hilarious thing about all of this is that, you know, you can get Chaos's moves, and some of them have really high damage, but he is fucking slow.
Oh, then damn, I really should have fought him. He would have been fucking easy to fight.
He is slow, and he can't even, like, if you get him in one of the pits in his arena, he can't jump out.
Yeah, that's true, actually. It makes for a unique character, though.
Yeah, I guess.
But, you know, not every character has to be just super fast, super high damage. They're the diametric opposite of Shadow, actually. Well, no, they're not, because they still hit like a truck, so... But yeah, so that's like the one thing of note from the whole grinding section, because I did not partake in the rest. Apparently there's like a super hard simulator thing, which you can use to get like god tier moves or something. But yeah, there's no way I'm going to do anything with that.
No, it's not worth it. By the time you would get tons and tons of moves, you would already be good enough at the game that you wouldn't need them. And it's not like this game has any extra challenges. I mean, it does have an arcade-style, like, battle-to-battle mode, but I'm not doing that shit.
Well, the battle simulator are, like, the bonus challenges.
Right.
It's the classic ultimate, you know, super sword of death that if you're good enough to get it, you don't need it anyway. But
yeah, there's nothing left to use it on.
It's nice to have a reward anyway, though. For people who would bother, like, I guess, I know there are people, because they're fans of every Sonic game. So I know there are people who really like Sonic Battle, and so that's for them, not for me.
It's not like this game's combat is just unbearably broken. It's just that it has no elaboration.
Yeah, the combat is very much mash B and occasionally change what direction you're pressing.
But there totally are people that enjoy just mindless combat in games. Frankly, depending on the game, sometimes I enjoy it myself. But
oh, yeah.
It's not like Team Fortress 2 has changed a lot as a game in the past 9 years, but I still play it.
Sure.
No, that's a bad, actually, comparison. But anyway, yeah, no, this game could have been a lot more, and nowhere is that more apparent than this fucking plot, because, I mean...
Before we get into the next part, I have to ask a question. Did you guys know how to, like, progress?
The guide I was following told me how. If I had not seen that, though, it would have taken me. I would have had to Google it.
I'm sure I figured it out eventually. Obviously, I did it as a kid. You have to click on the death egg, right?
Yeah, that's really
like,
stupid.
Pretty much every objective in the game is very clearly marked, and there's just a death egg in the background. I don't think you can even see it unless you intentionally go, you know, up towards the corner past where you can walk. You have to scroll, and it's like, yeah, I feel like that probably confused a lot of kids. Probably.
Oh yeah, definitely.
I can see some kids never complete the game because of that.
Well, and plus, isn't there a marker on like the ruins down below, and that's where they build like the teleporter that puts you there or something like that?
Yeah. The thing is, so I usually, I played the game for a bit, and then if I got confused, I went to the guide. But this one, when I got confused, I was literally like, that's very strange. And then when I read that, I'm like, huh? Because Knuckles is like, we built a teleporter. I was like, okay. And then Knuckles is like, yeah, we built a teleporter. I'm like, you can use it? No?
No.
Hey, we built a teleporter. I'm not gonna use
yeah,
it. We just want you to look at it.
Go ahead if you want to get into what happens next in the plot.
Oh, okay. So,
Alright.
they build the teleporter, as we've established.
Yep.
And, because Emerl is the main character of this game, he's the one who gets sent up. I guess by this point, maybe they expect you to have made Emerl more powerful than the other characters with a lot of skill points and cards by this point. That's definitely true once you get to the Death Egg, but it's like, even if Sonic's not here, like, Shadow is really strong, and spoiler alert, he'd be better for the upcoming boss fight than Emerl is, at least the way I had. So, you get to the Death Egg, and Eggman's there, and I like that Eggman is, like, part of the map, because it means that he's just there no matter what's happening on the Death Egg.
He's also massive.
Yeah, he's really big.
The Eggman sprite looks ridiculous.
I love the Eggman sprite. It looks so stupid.
It's very expressive. Honestly, it's perfect.
Yeah. Oh, it's perfect for him.
Okay, let's talk about this. So, the boss here is Eggman. It's Eggman in his weird red Eggmobile.
Yep.
And holy fuck, this is the most unbelievably broken boss in the world if you have not equipped a good shot special to Emerl. I did not find a single one across my playthrough since I wasn't grinding, and I just didn't happen to get a card for one. And this became one of the worst gaming experiences I have had in years. It's like I was astonished that I even beat the game as a kid with how maddening this was. And it's because as a kid I probably did find a shot special. Eggman is capable of infinitely spamming high damage missiles at you that stun lock you and send you into the air. He has a bomb that can take like 99% of your health. He can track your movements as you're respawning and get under you. And when you defeat him, if you take one of his lives, he suicide attacks in an instant-kill explosion that is way more powerful than Gamma's, I believe. Maybe it's the same. That one's also powerful anyway. You have to be able to stun lock him in the air in order to do any damage to him. And because of his the missiles especially, you cannot do that with a point-blank melee attack. You have to have a shot special for it. Doing this, even on an emulator with save states, I had to reload over and over and over and over and over again. What you viewers at home are seeing on the screen right now of me fighting it, which is probably going on right now, you're going to see in the corner that it says state loaded, and each time it says that, I've cut it selectively because I want to make it look nice, but each time you see that, that's not me loading a save state and then cutting it, that's me loading a save state like 19 times and then cutting it. It is absurd.
Wow.
He's a sitting duck if you knock him into the air, but you can't do that with physical attacks alone. Like, if you don't have some kind of range, I think it might kill you every time you kill him. I had to borderline just exploit the movement to get out of this. This is the worst fucking thing I've ever played for the show, I think. It possibly is. And that's crazy, because I like the game the most out of the three of us. That's why I did it traditionally instead of cheating most of the way.
I cheated, and this was still an extremely
frustrating
fight. Ugh. And I think the stun locking was the reason why.
Yes, good to hear that from you two. That even at the end, this game is just being completely absurd. Very glad that I never even attempted this legitimately at all. That's what you expect when you play the game the way the developers intended. I'm sure glad that I didn't. I was able to appreciate this purely for the style, which, without realizing any of that stuff and just using invincibility, I thought this was a decent enough time because I was happy to see a classic Eggman machine. Like, we haven't had an Eggman fight in this entire game, so that was actually cool to see. And he's got voice clips, like "How's this?" and "Wah ha ha ha," and "It can't be." And that was honestly a joy. And he has this ridiculous bug-eyed sprite, a la Sonic Advance, every time you hit him. So I was having fun beating him up. But
they should have made Eggman playable and then just made this be a fight against a playable character. That's why it's so unbalanced.
Yeah, he's a boss character, the only boss character in this game. Well, kind of. So yeah, he's ridiculous, but unique and interesting for that, I suppose.
Yeah, I don't know. I think just nobody tested this without a good shot attack. They should have had set drops for different items, for one decent one of each category. There should have been, like, generic good Emerl version attacks if you just had nothing to rely on.
Yeah.
It's very clear that the developers intended you to just grind a bunch and then eventually get a good loadout and beat this, which is a pretty dumb design, I must say.
You mentioned the testers, Devin. I have a feeling either this game didn't go through very extensive testing or play testing, or the people testing it probably had access to all of the cards.
Something like that, yeah. You need to be able to accurately represent what the players will experience during testing, not just make sure it theoretically can work and then just be like, leave it up to random chance.
Yeah, that is the problem.
So that's that. It's
blah, it's a show, but it's a game.
Anyway,
yeah, it's a game that you can play sometimes. I mean, you can play it a lot of the time, and sometimes it's worth noting, like the gameplay. But I suppose let's go back to noting the plot, because the plot gets whack in a minute here. After you beat up Eggman twice, just for the record, you have to beat him twice, like every single fight practically.
Everybody could have assumed that.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, if you're playing this and you barely scrape past the first one, the game's gonna throw another one at you with more lives. So after that, Eggman is like, "Oh no, you beat me." This is his style in the game, is like where he feigns defeat and then he's like, "Oh, but you fell for my trap." Because after that, he activates the death egg and it goes off successfully. And apparently it has been upgraded so that it can, in a single blast, destroy several stars.
That's got to be another translation error, because
no,
that makes it powerful than pretty much
anything.
At least,
this
that
is.
We've seen.
You say no, Devin?
I don't think it's a mistranslation, because that star power is the point. I don't know what else it would be destroying, because this egg clips cannon.
Literally.
Yeah, masterful wordplay on my part. This is fucking okay. Well, the first thing it reminds me of is goddamn Star Wars Episode 7 with the stupid our super Death Star that can destroy multiple planets. But
yes.
Just increase the numbers. That's all you need to make it more dramatic. Anyway, that's what the first thing it reminded me of. The second thing is that this is more powerful than the Eclipse Cannon. This is more powerful than anything that has ever been built in the series, technically. Or ever will be, probably. Ultimate Annihilator, fuck off. But
no, seriously, yeah.
Yeah, it is.
I just wanted to put it out there because it's all that's needed. No one needs any further interpretation. But yeah, to elaborate, this is absolutely ridiculous. No one stops him, and it's shocking because
he's just over here destroying fucking stars.
If you think about it, they're definitely aliens in
Sonic Colors.
So Eggman just freaking ruined so many planets. They'll die out without
potential
stars.
Billions of lives ended by this thing.
Yeah,
in an instant, and nobody could stop him.
Nobody even acknowledges that it was like that. It may as well have just it may as well have just blown up like one of Mars's moons and been less than the Eclipse Cannon.
Yes. I don't get it, because that was the show of power at SA2. I'll blow up half the moon, and that's pretty we talked about how ridiculous that is, but
right.
That's ridiculous, but it's at least dramatic, this is like they barely even touch on it. It's like, oh, bye Phobos, you know, it's like whatever. The entire point of this is to shift it to Emerl.
Literally,
Right.
and then it gets even more psychotic because Eggman does that, and then he reveals, yeah, it's just a ploy to make Emerald go crazy because apparently the sight of destruction is all it takes to flip off Gerald's safety switch and make Emerald go nuts again.
Is it
Which
the
also
sight
doesn't
of the
make any
destruction, or
sense.
is it that he absorbs some of the energy from it?
Well, I thought it was
I
because he was
don't,
absorbing some of the energy.
I don't know. It's a little confusing.
Is.
But either way, the point is he literally just did it as a means to an end, which so you're telling me that full power Emerald is greater than, multiple star destruction in seconds? How?
I mean,
Eggman literally doesn't need Emerald unless Emerald is absurd, which
well, I assume what he doesn't want to destroy the planet. He wants to be able to conquer the planet. He wants you to conquer the planet.
yes,
Yeah,
of course he wants to conquer the planet. You know what
but
he
he
has right there? He has
has a way to
SA2
hold the
again,
entire
just threaten the planet.
He has a way to hold the entire planet hostage by threatening. If he can actually blow up stars, he has a way to threaten to blow up the fucking sun.
Yeah. If you're gonna say, oh, it can only destroy stars, and
Oh,
sure,
we
yeah, you
homestuck
can
now.
still do that. But
Oh
I
no,
don't
it
think
can
that's
only
even it.
destroy stars. Oh no.
It's such a
It doesn't make
meaningless
sense no matter
escalation.
what. It's pointless escalation that isn't even treated as escalation. Literally, none of the characters are like, what the heck? This is the most horrifying weapon Eggman's ever created. They're all just like, oh, okay.
Yeah, it's like if Frieza blew up Namek in one shot and everyone was just like, oh yeah, of course you can do that.
That's really the thing that
Yeah.
gets me about this. But anyway, yeah, as I alluded to, as we were talking about, yeah, this is the payoff. After that absolute nonsense, Emerald, what a surprise! They're turning evil for good this time.
Yeah.
Yep.
And of course, predictably, Eggman is like, ha ha ha, Emerald, now you will do my bidding and help me rule the world. And everyone's like, yeah, no. Bam, punches Eggman down.
Yeah, which,
Yeah.
you know, with his power, should make Eggman fucking explode into red mist, but instead it's just like, ow.
I don't know.
Yeah,
Maybe
totally.
he wasn't trying to kill Eggman.
Well, he should.
Well, as far as, yeah, I mean, you could justify that maybe good Emerald is holding back evil Emerald, and then that's why
Yeah,
Eggman doesn't die, I suppose, because that's where this is leading to, because then Sonic shows up and is like, guess whose name is on the game? Not you, me.
Okay.
I get to take you down, and I am the one who's gonna be.
Okay, before we get to that,
the final boss.
so Sonic, he just shows up. Like, it's like, oh, Sonic is away. No, he's not.
He took the transporter.
Complete contrivance for him to have not done this from the start. Sonic takes the Master Emerald up to the Death Egg with him.
Yeah.
Which looks like all of the other Chaos Emeralds. They really couldn't make another sprite.
Yeah.
And Emerald breaks it into pieces.
Yeah.
And then nobody mentions it. Like, it means nothing.
Well, because Knuckles gonna put it back together.
Literally, Knuckles.
Well, but like, what difference does it make?
The whole thing with Knuckles putting the Master Emerald back together kind of does kill any tension.
Well, but it's like, okay, so, you know, the point of Master Emerald breakage is that what the Master Emerald can do is, you know, obviously it's a power source, but it can also shut down the Chaos Emerald, which I assume is why Sonic is taking it. Except it's Sonic. He doesn't control the rock. Knuckles does.
Maybe Knuckles taught him some words to fucking control it.
I guess.
You are right. This totally should have been Knuckles. I honestly didn't think about that. But
Knuckles and like Shadow, because Shadow's the stronger one. Is the stronger hedgehog here anyway.
Yeah, but he thought the Master Emerald's prayer was gay, so.
The thing is, there's no justifiable reason, because Sonic doesn't go super here. Surprise, surprise. There's no justifiable reason why you can't just have a 3-on-1 fight against Emerald. And honestly, it probably wouldn't even be unfair.
Well, it's like they use the teleporter. Like, why didn't you just bring everybody at that point? Do they say you can only send one person?
No.
Well, no.
I don't think
two. It sends Emerald and Sonic. So.
It's also true.
Yeah, so like what What are you doing? They could have solved that just by having him bring Knuckles, frankly. And, then it would have been fine, because, if Emerald does break it, you're not going to have Master Emerald shards all over the planet. It's just this one space station. So, yeah,
it would have been funny if Knuckles and Sonic had gone together, and then Knuckles is like, well, because Sonic could be there to be like, I'll talk Emerald out of it, and you can use the Master Emerald. And so then he's like, Emerald, no, come on, stop. And then Knuckles is like, I'll drain your power and you'll be good again. And it shatters. And then Sonic's like, I guess it's going to get tough. And then Knuckles is like, oh, I'm sorry, I have to go collect the emerald pieces. You're on your own.
No. Just during the final boss, you just have Knuckles, like, running around the background. He's not even aiming for Emerald.
Even better.
But yes, that complete non sequitur finally leads into the true final boss, Ultimate Emerl, who has a series of extremely strong cards equipped, essentially, because you can get all of these as real abilities. But he's basically just... Well, I mean, his abilities are already based off of Sonic's, but these are just, like, supercharged versions of them.
These are Sonic on, like, crack.
So he's faster and hits harder than, any normal character. But
also charges his special bar disgustingly fast.
Yeah, so any other normal character would obviously be outpaced by him. But here's the thing. Unlike Eggman, he's still a normal character at base, which then means he can be staggered and launched and is susceptible to Sonic's normal moveset. And Sonic's normal moveset already prioritizes getting out of the way, so this gave me no trouble at all. I did this in one shot.
I fucked up once and did it basically perfectly the second time.
Yeah, it's not hard at all.
I got really close the first time. He just got a special move in while we both had one life left.
Yeah.
So.
And that's basically a fluke at that point.
I didn't play this. Attempt to fight this legit. That's interesting that this is not a problem at all.
Yeah, it doesn't surprise me all that much.
Given what you said. Yeah, I have no comments on the fight other than what I've already said. But after the fight, then you beat the evil out of Emerald. You know how this goes. Like I said, I'm kind of surprised that it wasn't like Supersonic versus superpowered Emerald, but...
Man, I wish it was Supersonic. He could have used the Master Emerald and would have been cool.
It would have been cool. But instead of cool, we get sad. Because after that, then Emerald is like, no, you hit me too hard. I can't go on any further. So I was like, oh shoot, I didn't mean to actually kill you. And Emerald's like, too bad.
Yeah, we finally get normal Emerald back, as he's dying, and it's so sad. It's tearful farewell, but it's like, oh, but at least I could have been your friend, and it's all darn, I guess, I don't know.
Yeah, no, literally, like, I'm sure someone who cared more would probably be sad about this.
Yeah, okay, good. I'm not the only one who...
I like some of the writings surrounding Emerald in just that they do a couple funny things with him. And, being able to draw parallels between him and Shadow, and being able to, sort of see the writing on the wall as the characters are heading down this path of doing a bad thing. All of that is theoretically very interesting. In execution, it's like, It's hard to know whether I would have been way more forgiving of this stuff if the game had not been a tedious bore the entire way through.
That definitely doesn't help. It's hard to say, but I mean, honestly, yeah, Emerald was kind of... There were interesting things about him. His whole shtick about copying other characters, even in mannerisms, is entertaining. But there just isn't any cohesion at the end. I don't really know what Emerald's character is at the end of the day. Like, it's supposed to be like, oh, you've become your own person. Like, not sure what that is exactly. I guess an amalgamation of everyone else, which comes off pretty generic hero person, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And,
I don't know. It was weird, because I really thought they were building up to a different kind of finale than this. Like, I knew, Emerald was gonna turn bad, and then they turned bad. But it's such a strange way. Honestly, I'm not a huge fan of the whole, oh yeah, they were supposed to be an evil robot, but then Gerald put in a good program. And so basically there's evil program and good program. It makes it way too clear cut. The way they were building it up was almost like the characters were so blind to the direction Emerald was going. I thought it would be like, oh, Emerald goes down a dark path.
Yeah,
and then eventually everyone turns him back, sort of a thing. But instead it's like, oh no, they just turn off the evil Emerald.
Yeah, like if he were
Yeah.
manifesting toxic personality traits and goes mad with power of his own accord, that's a character turn, and that's interesting.
Sure.
He'd be the Sonic version of Anakin Skywalker, I guess. Um,
Kind of. That is-
Jesus.
but the fact that it's like, oh, he was always meant to be evil, and Gerald put in a like you said, it's like I deleted the morals file from my desktop.
Yeah, it's so boring and straightforward to a game that tries its hardest not to be straightforward in many different ways. Yeah, and the whole time they literally call Emerl the ultimate life form, which really confused me because it's like surely the ultimate robot, but no. Emerl is actually a person, even if they're made of metal. But at the end of the day, yeah, it's just the programming.
Yeah.
And yeah, they made another ultimate life form just like Shadow in order to kill him off at the end of the game.
Just like
Literally,
Shadow.
it's just the same thing again. It's very strange. Don't know why thought it seems like a cheap attempt to try to endear you to them because they're gone, sort of a thing.
Yeah,
Um,
definitely.
Yes.
That's
100%.
it's the fucking anime thing where it's like, oh, we introduced this ridiculously cute child. I wonder what horrible thing is going to happen to her.
Yeah.
Um, Sonic Battle might be the most disappointed I've ever been in a game on this show so far because I remembered liking this game as a kid, and this is the most that my opinion has ever changed into
Interesting.
adulthood. Because I dislike this game at this point, and that's not true for the other games. Because like Heroes, like you guys beat me down on it a lot, but I still like a lot of elements of that game. The Avenger games, I still generally like them, even though they were full of flaws. This is like, wow. It's like, well, I like the sprites. I like the music. There's some diamonds in the rough regarding the writing. Everything else fucking sucks.
yeah,
Yeah.
I pretty much
Much.
completely agree.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, and I already mentioned it, but you get to the end and there's no gamma payoff either. Thanks, game. It really felt like they're building something up with that. This game has a lot of interesting lore, which I will take and I will remember because some of it will be built upon, but I will not remember this whole thing because it does not in itself, as we said, it's actually kind of paradoxical in a lot of ways. So I will ignore it as an entire product and just take little bits and pieces that I think are interesting.
Yeah, you might as well.
I will just stick with my no, my head canon that it's not canon.
Yeah.
Well, I would love to do that. However, next time on Deep Dive Zone, the saga is not entirely finished because
Huh?
next week we're going to be talking about Sonic Advance 3, a much better game than this one. And frankly, no matter what happens in that game, I am really glad that we have it here just to wash the taste out of my mouth. Some people are like, "Oh, this is the worst Sonic game on the Game Boy Advance," and I want to fucking smack those people
Oh,
because,
Advanced 3?
yeah,
Hmm.
I I don't know
Interesting.
what they're smoking.
yeah, I don't know. But for now, we're done with Sonic Battle. Holy crap, this is the longest. Is this the most episodes we've done for a single game? It is, isn't it? It's like they're not as long.
Probably.
Yeah, because Adventure took 7 episodes, and this took 8. So it's like why this had to be so long? Maybe it didn't need to be so long. Maybe we could have combined some of these. I don't know.
This
But
game is just baffling in so many ways. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
strange that they decided to split it into 8 pieces like that when they're literally just back to back, as we already touched on. But I completely forgot about that point. They really wanted to make it more grand than it is.
yeah,
That's a
I
good way of putting it.
I still believe a truly great Sonic fighting game can exist, but this is not that game.
I mean, yeah, we already have it. It's Sonic the Fighters.
True.
Fighters is good, but it's pretty. It's a
Well,
little
there's no account.
Imagine
There's no accounting for taste, I guess.
Imagine, true, there isn't. Imagine if it was structured more like fighters, though. There was, like a very limited number of fights, and there was just like a short cutscene between
Exactly.
fights, and
So,
that's the game. It would not be
more
difficult to tell
traditional
it that way.
fighting game.
Yeah, exactly.
Just give every card to Emerald from the start and balance them.
Yeah.
Or what if you just got every single card throughout the game guaranteed, and so
Yeah.
by the end of the game you had every card?
Yeah, I guess vision is always 2020 in hindsight. That's not how you say it, but you know what I'm saying. For now, I think that's where we have to cut it off. Yeah.
Yeah, I definitely am glad to have looked at it. Maybe not all of
Sure.
it, but as I said, this game was always a bit of a curiosity, and I know what it's about.
I am no longer curious about it.
Yep.
I no longer want to ever look at this game ever again.
Yeah, I
Like
don't
I
think I'm
said.
ever gonna play this again. You know, this is kind of sad for me. You know, fuck Emerald. The real sad moment in this game is realizing what it was all along. But with all that said, we're done. We're gonna play a better game next week. Thank you all so much for watching this video. If you enjoyed, or if you suffered along with us and feel a sense of catharsis that we hated it as much as you did,
know.
feel free to share, like, comment, and subscribe. If you have any questions, criticism, comments, or feedback, maybe you're angry that we didn't like the greatest Sonic game ever made. I am happy to discuss that with you, and I'm
not
happy
wrong.
to take your comments and such on the video, or you can find us through any of the links in the link tree shown on screen and in the description. With all that said, have a great night. We will see you next week, and take care.